Hello, dear colleagues and friends. My name is Krasimir Nikolov, and I am PhD in Waste Management and Public-Private Partnership, and also I am Certified Government Auditing Professional. My webinar is liaised with the Green Business Platform, moreover, circular economy. The purpose of the Green Business Platform is to be done really qualified and practically based exchange and transfer of equipment, ideas and technologies between business undertakings, municipalities and community as a whole. In my opinion, we have a really big problem between well-developed cities and poor cities. The business platform is based on the Ricardian model on comparative advantages. Also, the business platform is possible to be applied in the development of Paris Agreement and also the EU Adaptation Strategy on climate change. So, as we know, the Paris Agreement needs to be developed really good best practices between all parties of the agreement by means of integrated approaches and to be minimize, avert and address displacement related to the adverse impact of climate change. It's going to be solved by means of cooperation and business partnerships between public and private sectors. What we need synergy in our process of climate change. How synergy is possible to be applied? We need to establish in every one member state and every one parties of United Nations matrix. We need matrix about project management. The matrix is possible to connect different actions between projects, different policies, and finally, the policies is possible to be connected with real project indicators. We need to establish call for proposals implementation through calls for proposals entails coordinated calls that are either joint calls, for example, calls that are launched under the same policy objectives. Logical sequences of calls, for example, calls are coordinated both time-wise and thematic-wise to be realized in a sequence. Common selection criteria. For example, calls should be coordinated to harmonize the selection criteria. This requires training the independent expert panel participating on the selection committee. The managing authorities in the EU and the UN parties could support this effort by awarding additional selection points for coordinated projects. Next one, industrial symbiosis. We need to know what to do with industrial symbiosis because recycling of waste is a really good issue we need to do. But incineration of waste is not good because the scarcity of resources as a theory of our business management will be zero. We don't need zero. We need to manage our contamination level. We need to be excellent of well-being issues of the citizens. The Paris Committee on Capacity Building is dealing with some gaps and needs in current and emerging case about the implementation of capacity building in developing countries. So, The EU Adaptation Strategy on Climate Change. In my opinion, the Green Business Platform is possible to establish betterment in some of 8 actions. Moreover, provide life funding action. There is stipulated that we need integrated projects. Moreover, integrated projects are our current future. Our cohesion policy is based on integrated projects. But where is possible to be established? Only between member states which are answerable and understandable of the smartest EU policy. Covenant of Mayors. Covenant of Mayors is connected, in my opinion, fully with the EU environmental trading system. Why? Because not everyone action plan gives the expected results of the city or some region. Hence, if the EU ETC be connected to the proposed and expected results in the action plans of the municipalities and regions, then many municipalities will be triggered in its full capacity because the fees they would be paid by taxpayers' money are really serious problem. The taxpayers' quality of life is the most important for Covenant of Mayors. The next action, bridge the knowledge gap. As I mentioned before, the Green Business Platform is there linked with the knowledge gap. The Green Business Platform is possible to be connected with Climate Adapt Platform, where a real business is possible to exchange its notions about climate change issues. And finally, I would like to emphasize my opinion on insurance companies. They cannot work itself on climate change. Why? Because pension funds, as many practices shows in the United States, it's possible to be connected with climate change issues. So, insurance companies and pension funds can work together in full collaboration between local authorities and EU funding projects. And public-private partnership model is possible to be applied in full capacity. So, what is possible here to be done? We need the EU Adaptation Strategy on Climate Change to be our future, to be applicable in every one region in the Union. And the business model of public-private partnership will provide integration in businesses, in different types of business. What are the needed results? Of course, to decrease the contamination level in every one region and to create global monitoring system where every one city to be on its competitiveness with another one city. On the next slide, I would like to explain why some SMEs need its divest process, and not only SMEs and large companies, of course. We need divest process on fossil fuels and to go on and to continue development of climate sustainable businesses. The profit is important, but what is the profit? The profit is our green well-being or our profit as a profit for the large companies. So World Bank Group, in accordance to the World Bank Group, the investment portfolios are increasingly connected to the real assets quality. The investment opportunities are inherently connected to company investments portfolios. The investment portfolio of companies must have freely and transparently based on environmental, technological exchange and transfer, in my opinion. Also, the potential to change of the industry is based on projects based on a circular economy as well as recycling community as well. There are identified 4 approaches. First one approach is connected to engagement through delegation to managers, asking them to consider incorporating climate risks into portfolio system. Secondly, engagements through advocating for more transparency and reporting on climate risk metrics, where we need scientific results. While overlaying a climate risk leads, it's possible to lead to due diligence and monitoring process. Thirdly, proactive hedging via low carbon index products, derivatives, or use of active managers that employ environmental social governance metrics. And fourthly, policy level exclusion of fossil fuel and other sectors. This is really important to be done because the lobby system must be changed, must be climate sustainability related. The EU environmental trading system, in my opinion, doesn't work on the right way. Why? Because in the third trading period, it set up major reform as regarding application of auctioning of allowances in place of cost-free allocation. Obviously, in my opinion, the procedure does not work as a practical and useful mechanism, as I said. The low carbon investment has not been promoted. The business must be inspired by idea not to pay for its low competitiveness. Green business model aims spreading of incentives amongst companies in the process of investment in contemporary plants and undertakings, which must be based on the lowest ever possible greenhouse emission level. So, the carbon capture and storage by means of innovative technologies enshrined in investment strategies must be fully accepted worldly. So, and the reform must include the connections between the EU trading system and Covenant of Mayors. The next slide encompasses creation of the Green Business Platform, the business technological collaboration and partnership needed between the regions, states, and companies. As I mentioned before, the scientific elaboration of the Green Business Platform is based on the David Ricardo's theory about comparative advantages. There are many risks in a battle for climate sustainability we need to tackle. Large data gaps in climate finance efforts, sovereign risk, technology risk, policy risk, subsidies for incumbent technologies, lack of project intermediaries and developers, return on investment gaps, lack of tracking, certification, and clear definitions, lack of institutional capacity and entrepreneurial skills. So, the business technology collaboration and partnership is shown between regions, states, and companies. Programs we need to manage must be connected with regional business technological problems and resource limitations. Every one project is fully admitted to be funded by different private funds with governmental interactions. As I mentioned, we need public-private partnership. Hence, the agreement cannot be useful without partnership between private funds and private policies, because they are mostly owners of the climate-endangered regions, namely the business owners. Consequently, stewardships of government equity can be transferred to private hands. So let's see the next part of the webinar, and moreover the creation of the Green Business Platform. The platform gives possibility for private companies to exchange and transfer its greenly based technology, free exchange of innovative ideas, business concepts, and etc. The Ricardian model is liaised with dominance of one country over another one in given business sphere, where both have different specialization in businesses. The task of the Green Business Platform is to be overcome the ceiling level of green technologies between countries worldwide by means of free sources and knowledge or centers of excellence and exchange of information about realization of the green world idea. So the Ricardian model, win-win, is accepted because we need it. Factor of green business is liaised with states of different kind of manufacturing business which have need for technical exchange and or transfer. Factor of production aims change of moral out and out of order equipment, facilities and machineries with environmentally based new one. And finally, factor of quality of life includes air quality, terms of labor, and expenses for medicine, hospital expenses, and health insurances. The aim is equalization of environmental friendly technologies in the SME in the member states of the Paris Agreement and also in the EU member states. Marginal costs must be equal to marginal innovations added in contemporary green industries. Hence, we will have positive results of one country about progress and fulfillment of the green business between another one country. So, how the maximization will be done in the creation of the Green Business Platform? The Green Business Platform is projected to be electronically and freely for new entrants to the market. The intellectual property over environmental friendly equipment, ideas or business concept provided by company A can be contractual arranged by means of inclusion it as a shareholder in property of company B. The intellectual property can be assessed by the Committee of Representatives of the Green Business Undertakings and local public authorities. In case when new entrant is admitted in the platform, he must be responsible for intellectual property of another of, uh, of the rest undertakings and public authorities. The Ricardian theory focuses on the supply side. Vis-a-vis, John Stuart Mill introduces the demand as a leading element. In accordance to the theory, For demand and supply, we can see the specifications of the green business model. Company A, demand, need to incorporate innovation in green business area, whereas company B, supply, possesses innovation in the given green business area which represent interest for company A. In the green business platform is being seen business equilibrium and full partnership when D is equal to S in point A is the in point A is the core sense of the green business platform. All companies can make deals aimed to be reached the lowest carbon emissions. On the next slide, you can see that we need to be created some uh, new factors. We need factor of change of multi-annual financial frameworks, because our multi-annual financial frameworks as EU member states need to be changed, need to be applied, need to be applied tailor-made approach on climate change. The Ricardian model gradually predisposes equilibrium in prices of goods, services, and factors in connection to supply and demand in all markets simultaneously. The equilibrium in the Green Business Platform is based on the next elements. Free market is liaised with readiness of the government to give a chance to be developed and applied Green Business Platform. Here we need governmental endorsement also. Access to creative business is chance in setup of new business supported by the scientific institutes, green projects hosted by the European Commission, the UN, the European Investment Bank, and also Asian Development Bank. Utilization of different types of wastes is a really serious problem, because in some member states are used models like dump sites and incineration. It's not good, in my opinion. The scientific institutes can provide different economy levels across countries. Moreover, the energy union of the EU will give chance for development of the member state to establish green future. Multi-annual financial frameworks, as I mentioned, will provide member states with new future. What we need here in the theory of David Ricardo. Actually, endogenous variables are those variables describing the possibilities over the moment of solving some issue. Stakeholders have control over the factors in that way. The factors are as follow: the factor advantages in innovations, the factor labor, factor mobility, and the factor scientific institutes. Exogenous variables are liaised with the current model and are taken into account to be end results of the model. The value of the innovations and the requirements needed in solving of the climate change problems are known. The factors are as follow: utilization of different types of waste, the factor freedom of labor and education, the factor multi-annual financial frameworks. So, the production possibility frontier is liaised with technological innovation based on environmental friendly materials, renewable recycled resources, bioenergy, and exchange of technology. Likewise, the production possibility set is being comprised of manufacturing green-based companies without utilization of any fossil fuels in its manufacturing chain. The function of effectiveness of green business platform comprises of the exogenous and the endogenous variables. The mainstream of the idea is based on setup of broadened collaboration between exogenous variables and endogenous variables by means of production possibility set and the production possibility frontier. Bear in mind the enshrined partnership amongst companies. In the green business platform, it's impossible to be realized misconception on erroneous implication, such as fear from technology advances. Applicability of the green business platform provides countries with the latest advantage with manifestations of green business partnerships. The main aim of the Paris Agreement does not allow absolute advantages of one country to be hidden for its own use. So on the next slide is depicted the opportunities in front of countries or companies enshrined in the Paris Agreement or in the EU Adaptation Strategy on Climate Change or EU member states. It is about quadrangle A1, A2, 0. The quadrangle includes the exogenous variables, and quadrangle B, B1, B2, 0 encompasses endogenous variables. The exchange of exogenous and endogenous variables is a main element of the green business platform. We need flexibility, of course. There are occasions in which both companies possess only the exogenous and endogenous factors in its full capacity. In such a case, we would admit the full equilibrium as is shown on the website. Consequently, the green business platform aims in fact application of the Paris Agreement and the EU Adaptation Strategy and keeping us on a grid environment friendly level. And on the last slide, I would like to promote the green business platform, because the green business platform is possible to be applicable after the excellent project named Enabling the Circular Economy, Boosting Separate Paper Collection. The Impact Paperec project partners issued good and best practices and best practice handbook for the collection of paper and board for recycling. So, practically said, recycling is possible to be developed by means of green business platform. Thank you for the attention, and I hope my webinar to be really practical for you. Thank you.